Hi, today we are going to learn about Informatica, and first thing is like before we start Informatica training, first we need to know when this Informatica will come into life, when we are going to use in real-time environment this Informatica. That is the first thing we are going to learn here. For that, like I'll tell, like we have seen so many of our friends will be working onto the data warehousing tools, like they said that like we are working onto the data warehousing projects onto the Informatica, ETL and all. First we need to understand when this data warehousing comes into life. In data warehousing, where this ETL process and an Informatica, what is an ETL process and what is an Informatica, when it will come into life. For that we'll have few questions. First thing is like, what is data warehousing and why it will be used, where it will be used, what is ETL process, why it needed, when it comes into life, and next, what is Informatica, main use of Informatica, imported objects in Informatica. So when we are going to learn these things in Informatica, first we need to understand when when Informatica will comes into life. When Informatica will comes into life. So here, before we deal with that, first we need to understand. If I give you a simple word saying that I am warehouse, we say a place where we store different types of iron materials. So we can say a place where we store different types of iron materials means like we'll be collecting different types of materials different with different sizes and shapes, and we'll be storing at one place. That one we call it as a warehouse. Next, in the same way, if I am giving you a word saying that data warehouse, it's a simple way to understand when this data warehouse comes into life. For this we can say a database where we store different types of data. We can say a place where we store different types of data. Simply saying that from the above example, a place where we store different types of iron materials, here we can say a database is nothing but where we store different types of data. Coming to this space, like when we are working with the data warehouse, here we are saying different types of store where we store different types of data. How a data differentiated in real time? That might be one question, like you might be asking, saying that we can see iron materials into different sizes and volumes. How a data can be differentiated in real time? So is that like is there any difference like when it comes to a data can be, how a data can be differentiated? Coming to iron, we can see different sizes and volumes, we can see material difference and all, we can compare, that is of different types. How a data can be differentiated in real time? For that we can give a best example. Let us take an organization ABC. ABC is one organization which got established in 1990. till 2015. Let us say, we'll say general will be having 25 years of history for that organization. In this organization ABC, it will have different departments, like HR is one department and sales is one department, marketing is one department. These different departments will have a data, right, of its own. Like HR department will have HR related data which deals with employees salaries, employees gross, everything, and so we call that one as HR type data. We can differentiate this one as HR type data. And when it comes to the sales department will deal with sales related information, like what are the products were manufactured in ABC organization, that how about the sales and how the sales are going, all the data will be available in the sales department. So we can say sales department as in sales type data. And marketing, we can say marketing type. So we have here different types of data available here from different departments. So you see 3 different departments having 3 different types of data. When it comes to storage, where we store data, we will store a data into database. Let us assume when the organization started in 1990, HR type data started loading into Oracle database, and sales type data started loading into SQL Server, and finance type data started loading into DB2. It's an IBM database. SQL Server is Microsoft SQL Server. Oracle is the Oracle database. Let us assume here the 3 different types of databases started loading with 3 different types of data. In real time, when it comes to organization, this organization started in 1990. Till this year 2015. Every year, every day, whenever data started loading into the database, over this period of 25 years, we can assume very bulk content of data started adding into each and every database. All database got added with bulk content of data. So let us assume database started growing its volume of data day by day, in which they might have useful data as well as unuseful data. So we have 2 different types of data in real time, that is useful data as well as unuseful data. So in this bulk content of data, if an organization wants to maintain, it might become for the organization difficult to maintain with 3 different types of databases, and they want to maintain one single database with different types of data inside it. So if we maintain one single database or multiple databases with different types of data inside it, and that data is a cleansed data and a perfect data, then we can call that one as a warehouse database in real time. So how they want to do in real time is, let us assume now we have HR under Oracle database and sales under SQL Server, marketing under DB2. Now they want to move all the data, that means HR, sales, marketing, into a single database, that is Oracle or DB2, whatever it is, they want to move it under a single database, so that this kind of database can be called as an warehouse database in real time. Now all the data is available under a single database or a multiple databases. As per the requirement, they can move that data and they can place the data and they can view the data in a single table. So when they are doing that, like what happens in real time is, like they can make the data available under a single database, so that data will be used for their business purpose. Like if they want to analyze the data from past 5 years, let us assume this ABC is an organization which do automobile manufacturing. It's an automobile manufacturing company. So when they want to do it, like they want to perform this, like they want to take care of like they want to perform in such a way, this organization data, they want to use it for their future business enhancement, saying that so here they want to make this data usage in such a way, they want to make it available for their future usage. That means if it is a Toyota manufacturing company and they want this manufacturing company data, that means a company sales president or someone wants to view the data for a particular model SUV or an sedan model, and how the data is available, that means how the sales is available over a period of last 6 months, then it should be easy for him to retrieve the data from an cleansed database than from an uncleansed database. So it will be, data warehouse is the environment which maintains the historic data, where a customer can use the data for multiple purposes. Like he can use the data for making use of the data, he can take a quick business decisions in real time. So whenever there is a requirement for doing this process from transferring data from one single database to multiple databases, then in real time ETL process comes into life. How exactly ETL process will work in real time is, extract data from single or multiple databases And transformation means filtering, cleansing, calculating, or some sort of information like some sort of applying formulas or something else. Everything will be done through transformation. And loading data into single or multiple databases. This is how we can do the extraction, transformation, loading here in real time. So once this ETL process, how this ETL process will do, let us assume we have HR under Oracle database, and we have sales under SQL server, and we have marketing under DB. Now we will apply, organization will apply an ETL process here. It will do extraction, transformation, and loading will be done to the HR, sales, marketing, everything under Oracle database or other databases. There is no restriction. Like we can do the ETL transformation, extraction, transformation, loading, and we can make the data available under one single database or multiple databases. This is how we can do it in real time. This is how we can make the things happen in real time. So to do this extraction, now data will be collected and it will be cleansed. Let us assume you can ask me a question like saying that how data can be differentiated in real time, useful data and unuseful data. I can say you a best example, giving you the best example, saying that in real time, when we are working on any work environment, when we are start working on to the any development environment, what happens in real time is when we start loading the data, when we start working with the data, if it is a Toyota, is a manufacturing company, automobile manufacturing company. So what they do, they manufacture different models from 1990 till 2015. They might be having 100 models. In that 50 models or some 60 models, they are not in use as of now. Still their data is available in their source database. So what happens in real time, whenever customer wants to analyze and they want to maintain one fresh database with an exact data, means we can say that vehicle status is equal to active. So what happens, only the vehicles which are with active will be moved into the target database. Whenever we have such requirement to make the things happen, moving the data from source to the target, loading it into the target, and some filtering should happen, then this ETL process will comes into life. That's how ETL process will be used in real time, and which makes a very important role into the data warehousing projects. So to do this entire ETL process in real time, we have Informatica as an ETL tool to develop this ETL process. That means Informatica can connect to n number of databases, and it can extract the data from the databases, and it can do the transformation, and it can load the data into a single database or a multiple databases, depends on the requirement from the end user. Okay, whatever the requirement end user is having, in that way this particular Informatica tool will be used in real time, connecting to multiple databases and gathering the data from there and doing the transformation over the data which it gathers and loading the data into a single database or a multiple database. This is how it happens in real time. This is how it will be working in real time. When it comes to the ETL process, Informatica is an ETL tool which will be going to be used in data warehousing whenever they want to make use of data transfers from source to target and loading the data from source to target, doing some transformations, applying some formulas, applying some calculations. All these things can be done through Informatica as an ETL tool. Now we all understood, right? Informatica is an ETL tool from the Informatica. Almost like Informatica occupied 80% of our market. Like how this Informatica nowadays is being very popularized. Oracle is having one important apps tool, that is BA apps. So when they do the BA apps configuration onto the Informatica, they get all the pre-built mappings for the Informatica, and they make use of this Informatica pre-built mappings to connect with HR analytics or procurement or some other databases data, and they can easily develop the projects within the less time. So nowadays, like Informatica is being widely used for many of the ETL processes. Like whenever a customer wants to go for an ETL process, first option what he checks for is Informatica. So that's the way Informatica almost like it occupied 80% of the market, and now we are going to learn with the Informatica. Now we all understood, right, how Informatica will be worked in real time when it is going to come into live, how we are going to work with Informatica. And now we'll see how this Informatica will be worked in real time. First we'll see the Informatica installation steps. For Informatica installation, first we need to have any database, SQL Server or Oracle database, some database should be installed on our machine. And once we install database, next we need to create a user. Database, any user, and we need to provide him grant DBA privileges. Next we need to extract the files of Informatica, where we will be having two installations. One is client and the other one is server. These two installations will be done separately onto the local machine, and we will be seeing that in the next coming sessions, like how the Informatica installation will be done. And as a developer, what we need to concentrate more onto the Informatica side is, we need to concentrate more as a developer onto the Informatica side. First thing is, like, we need to concentrate with how this Informatica will be going to work as for a developer, and what are the main things we are going to work with the Informatica for the development. So as a developer in Informatica, we need to mainly concentrate onto the client related tools. We will be having 4 different types of client related tools will be available once we do the installation. First, generally we will just see what are the different types of client related tools will be get installed after installing the client in the Informatica. And first thing is, like, we call it as Power Center, repository manager, and next one is Power Center designer. Next one is workflow manager. Next one is workflow monitor. So we'll be seeing in depth of, like, what is the repository manager and what is an Power Center designer and all. As a developer, we'll be working on these 4 client tools. Repository manager to manage the project related folders, to create a folder, or to create assign privileges to the user. Everything will be taken care by the repository manager. And next it comes to the designer. Designer is the one space where from Informatica will be importing the source tables and will be importing the target tables, and will be creating a mapping between the source and the target using the designer tool. That's how this Power Center designer tool will be used in real time. And next is like workflow monitor. After designing any mapping from source to target, here we are going to design a mapping between a source and and connecting to the target using different transformations. Once we design this source to target transformation in a mapping, that mapping should be run right. So we design the source connection, from which source it need to connect and to which target it should load. Everything will be designed in the workflow manager using a session. A session will be created. That session will hold one mapping in real time. That's how this session will be used in real time, and that session is going to create holding a mapping which we are going to create through a Power Center designer. So here, once we design this workflow manager, once we create this workflow manager, so that workflow manager will have a start button where we can start the workflow. Whatever the workflow is running, whatever the source to target mapping is designed, and whatever it is loading it to the target, that will be viewed and that will be monitored through workflow monitor, where we can see how the source, what are the records are available in the source, and how many records were loaded into the target once the designer run is finished, once the mapping run is finished, and how the source to target records were loaded, how many records were loaded. And we can get the session log, where we can find how this entire process from source to target data load is started, and how it went and how it got loaded. Everything we can make sure like recorded here in the workflow monitor. That's the way our workflow monitor will be used, and it will be helpful in real time. This is how, like, now we will start working with our installation part from the scratch, installation of our entire Informatica installation. After that we will see how we will do the configurations in Informatica, everything we will see. And once we finish this, next we will go with the development of our different types of transformations in real time.